Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so my first question is, do you know like what chemicals go into the pool water?
For the most part, yes. We basically have cyanidic acid that we use. We also use a carbon dioxide machine now that we have. We just added that on, and then we are also using our chlorine chemicals. So those are your three
The
basic.
chemicals do to the water that like cleans them, or what it does?
Well, I mean, they're all a disinfectant of some sort and everything. Your cyanidic acid and the acids that you use, they're going to be a little bit more intense and everything. So they're really taking care of a lot of bacteria and everything. Some pools like this one, we also send it through a UV light, so that kills any kind of crypto that might be in the pools or anything like that. But we only have that for one of our pools, which is the most frequently used
Which
and everything.
pool is
That's this one, the adventure pool.
Okay.
Basic disinfectant is just killing some of the basic bacteria and everything, because just all your bodily fluids and everything on your skin and all of that, we just want to make sure it's all taken care of. So that's what those mainly do. And then the carbon dioxide machine that we have kind of helps like the cyanidic acid would and everything, where it helps control all more of the diseases and everything. So works in the same way.
Oh, are there different chemicals for different pools? Like, are there different chemicals for like the hot tub and for this one and the large pool and the smaller pool?
Nope, those are all the same chemicals. We
Okay.
sometimes though we'll add a little bit more to certain pools. Like our hot tub definitely has more chemicals in it than some of the other pools.
Okay, cool. Do you know how like each of the chemicals like affects the skin and stuff? Like, can it like harm your skin or your hair or anything?
Yeah, chlorine can definitely bleach your hair. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of swimmers, their hair is going to start turning green and everything, because of the acids and chlorine and all of that's in there. And then a lot of it too, I mean, it's going to dry out your skin. So those are the two basic things that happen, is it dries everything out. So your hair gets dried out, your skin dries out and everything. And you'll see that if you go into a pool with more chemicals, it's going to do it a lot quicker. Or for us, when our chlorine content is higher, then our skin dries out a lot quicker, and then there's more chlorine in the air because of all of our equipment that throws the water up, and then it throws the chemicals into the air. So I start to burn and things like that. So eye burning is another one.
Okay, and do you know like how do you control that? Like after your skin is dry, what is like the best thing to make it less dry?
Just washing it off. So washing it off using soap, any kind of hydrating soaps or anything like that. Any kind of oils. Oils are really good after pool use and everything. So I know for hair, if you're using any kind of like the Moroccan oil, things like that, to help control the nutrients in it, add some.
Are there any chemicals that are in one pool and not in others?
Not chemicals, no. I guess the carbon dioxide is something that is specific to, I think it's more specific to this pool. But we also have the UV light that we use. It's not a chemical, but that's the only thing we do different.
Okay. Oh, do you know why there's like a time limit, like for the hot tub, like mainly like for pregnant women and like older people? Do you know why there's like a certain time limit, or
That has all to do with heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is strictly heat related, because we keep our hot tub at 104 degrees. So,
Can a certain amount of time in different pools like affect your skin and stuff differently? Like if you're in a hot tub, does that affect, if you're in longer for a hot tub than this adventure pool, can that affect you differently?
well, it can, because our hot tub usually has a few more chemicals in it. So yeah, that's gonna affect you a little bit more. And I mean, I can notice it. So from going in from the small pool and everything, where the chemicals aren't quite so high, to the hot tub, I can feel the difference. Like your skin just feels a little bit more suffocated than it would in the other pools.
What do you clean the decks with, like the things around the pool?
Yep. For the decks, all we do normally is we spray it down just with plain water and everything, because everybody's dragging the chlorine chemicals and all of that all over the pool. We don't usually have to worry too much about disinfectant, but we do try to clean them as much as we can. We can't necessarily scrub this deck, the adventure pool deck, because it's a concrete. So the other pools that have the tiles though will take some sort of I forget what it's called, but we have a machine that goes around it and everything, and it has a disinfectant in it, so it's a little bit extra, but normally the chlorine water does the job.
Okay. And if so, like how often?
We drain about every year to year and a half. So
Okay.
our large pool we've drained once each year for the past couple years, and then our small pool just got drained not too long ago. This one is going on about a year and a half, but we're draining it pretty soon.
Okay, do you do that based on like tests that you run, and if it shows, like if the test came back stronger, that you clean it more often, or
No, not necessarily.
just a
Norm-
regular kind of basis?
No, normally we can control the chemicals and everything, so if one chemical gets high, we just kind of amp up one of the other ones or decrease how much is going in for that chemical, and then it balances out. So we might have to close the pool, but we won't have to drain it.
Okay.
The only time we really have to drain the pools is when we're doing a deep clean of the surfaces. So
Okay. You're draining. What are the procedures to reopen the pool? Like, do you scrub the linings or do anything like that?
we acid wash just about everything, so all the decks, all the pool floors and everything like that, making sure that everything is intact, making sure all the screws are tight and everything. Yeah, and that's really it as far as the pools go and everything, and then we just add in regular tap water, start adding in the chemicals, heat the pools back up, which especially in winter can take a long time, that water gets really cold, and then we're good to open again.
And how long does that usually take?
Depending on how much water we're working with, the large pool to fill only takes a couple hours. So we use fireman hoses, so they fill pretty quickly. But as far as heating them and everything, that takes a little bit longer to balance the chemicals. So, and sometimes balancing chemicals can take a little bit longer than anticipated, because sometimes your chlorine will shoot up and all of a sudden your pH drops, so you have absolutely no acid in your pool. Other times it goes the opposite way, there's no chlorine and a ton of acid, so then it's having to contradict that and fix that up. But I'd say on average it would take about 2 days. So,
Okay.
yeah.
What are some of the instruments that you use to like test how elevated the levels of like chlorine and different acids are?
That I can show you right here. This is all we use to test our chlorine or all of our levels. So we test our pH, our chlorine, and our alkalinity. And really all it is it's going into this tube and you're filling it depending on what you want. Our pH we use the color codes for. Our chlorine, we are using the chlorine powder, and then we add just the drops of this just to make try to clear it up and everything so it turns out a pink color. Once it's clear, then we know our number. And then alkalinity has 3 different bottles that we use, so indicators and the phosphates and all that. So
And how often do you add chemicals? Is it,
chemicals are going in consistently.
Okay.
Yeah. So our chemicals, we have feeders that we use. So whenever our indicators can see that things are getting a little bit low and everything, that's when they start adding in more. Something about, so basically it has a UV light and all the water just filters through it and it kills off any of the cryptosporidium that could potentially be in there. So it's just an extra precaution to make sure that we're always good. These are all of our different like pH scales and everything, so it shows where our pH levels are at. We can always kind of adjust things as we need to. We've got our chlorine in here, and then real quick, that's our chlorine feeder. So all of these are chlorine pellets and everything. Put it in there and it automatically moves it depending on the levels and all the scales and everything. Because this one is the acid, but that's our acid. So that's it goes on just every so often because now we have the CO2 going, so it kind of balances